Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace was humiliated last night on CNN, admitting she doesn't actually have any evidence against Joe Biden, despite the fact that she supports and Republicans will be moving forward with an impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden. Here is Nancy Mace last night being interviewed by CNN's Caitlin Collins. The questions are very simple. Have you seen any direct evidence related to President Biden in any of this? Well, here's what Nancy Mace had to say.
To support it. I'm just saying, if you can see what I have seen, and I believe you deserve to see that.
But have you seen direct evidence related to President Biden? Because that's what we have not heard.
Well, we have to connect the dots, and that has to be through the bank records. If his bank records show nothing, the American people should know that too.
And you think it's worth launching that 100%. To get to that?
I do.
Yeah. Have you seen evidence? Well, everybody has a right to know about it. And if we get those bank records, that's where the evidence well may be. Okay, so right now you don't actually have any evidence. And so why are you doing the impeachment inquiry? Well, it's basically a fishing expedition. Caitlin Collins continuing. So there isn't actually any evidence. So why do this? And Nancy Mace says, oh, because we want to subpoena people.
Is astounding. You would be shocked. You would blush, Caitlin, if you'd seen what I had seen.
You've said this before, and we spoke with you after you went to the Treasury Department and looked at those reports. But I mean, you, as a member of Congress, do have access to those reports. You went and saw them yourself. So I think a lot of people ask, you've been home for 6 weeks. There's been no new evidence that's been uncovered or brought forward. So what is the basis now for having?
Well,
the basis is politics, right? I mean, I would love for her to just be honest and go, oh, the basis is politics. They impeached Trump. We're determined to impeach Joe Biden, period. That's it.
There are more people to subpoena, whether that's Hunter Biden, whether that's the bookkeeper, whether that's getting Shokin in to testify. There are a lot of witnesses out there that saw things that were part of meetings that Joe Biden was a part of, that were part of the transactions, that were potentially part of the bribery scheme.
Part of the transactions that were potentially part of the bribery scheme. Remember, for which there is not currently any evidence. That's a key appendage to this.
I mean, all that evidence the American people should be able to have and see.
If it exists. If it exists. Caitlin Collins actually doing a good job here and pointing out again, shouldn't you have evidence to support the impeachment inquiry? In other words, if the impeachment inquiry would logically be started with no evidence, there would just constantly be impeachment inquiries to see if there's any evidence. The evidence should lead you rather than the other way around. Oh, no, she doesn't care.
The people deserve the truth and nothing but the truth.
Isn't it supposed to be the evidence that leads you to pursue impeachment and impeachment inquiry?
Well, that's what the inquiry is for.
But there's more investigations. I think that's where people are confused because it's not like
we don't have Joe Biden's bank records yet. And so one way to do that, my understanding, would be through an impeachment inquiry. So if that's what gets us those bank records, then I'm going to support it.
Right. Listen, guys, we don't have any evidence, but we need an impeachment inquiry in order to obtain the evidence so that then we can know what's going on. Oh, okay. But do you even know that such evidence exists? In other words, what is even the probable cause for the inquiry? Well, we don't know. We need to do the inquiry in order to know whether the inquiry is warranted. It is a vicious circle of stupidity. Here's just one more clip, and it's endless. It just goes on and on like this the entire interview.
An inquiry is an investigative tool. That's the difference between an impeachment vote and an inquiry.
But you're talking about the subpoena power. I mean, you have that now.
I don't think we've issued enough subpoenas.
But isn't that a leadership problem? Shouldn't you be talking to the chair of your committee about that?
I talk to our leadership in our committee all the time, and they're being judicious in how they do it. They're being deliberate. I want it now, but there's a deliberative process. I think that they are going about it at the right pace, at the right speed, but it takes time. It takes money. You can't go and just...
So if we should be issuing more subpoenas. Well, why don't you talk to the people who could issue them? Your party, the Republicans that control the House. Well, actually, I think that they're issuing subpoenas at the right pace, but we need an impeachment inquiry to get the evidence. Oh, but what about maybe first obtaining evidence through subpoenas? She's like, well, I don't think we've issued enough subpoenas. But shouldn't you talk to Republican leadership about that? Well, yes, but they're doing everything fine. It's a loop. You're not confused. The last 5 minutes have not been me showing you the same clip over and over again. It's circular reasoning, not circular clips, although the entire thing is circular. This is going to be the new way to distract, if they can, from the reality that they have no policy, that they've lost large swaths of the country, including in important and critical swing states, because of we're anti-woke and we oppose Roe v. Wade and we oppose teachers deciding what should be taught and we have nothing left. This is how they're going to distract from it, from as yet imaginary Biden crimes. And the reason I say as yet is you can't really prove negatives. So where we have to rest is we don't currently have any evidence that Joe Biden did any of the stuff they're saying he did. I can't tell you he didn't do it, much like I can't tell you Trump didn't kill anyone. But right now, we have no evidence that Joe Biden did bribery or that Trump killed anybody. That's as far as we can go. Should the evidence change, then of course, I will tell you that. Meanwhile, Joe Biden continues to be president. Let's talk about that next. Whoa, as I punch my mic out of exuberation and exuberance. Staying healthy and feeling generally good is all about habits that are sustainable, finding what works for you, something you'll stick to, and it might be different for everybody. That's why I keep my routines really simple. Before I have my morning coffee, I'll have a scoop of AG1. AG1 is just this tasty green nutritional supplement. You can mix it into water or other drinks or smoothies. You get 75 high quality vitamins and probiotics from whole food sources. It's just a scoop of AG1. You're covering everything you would need for the day. I just don't have time to be dealing with 10 different vitamin supplement bottles or combining all these things. It's also really expensive to do that. It's just a single scoop of AG1 in the morning, gives me all the vitamins that I'm looking for, saves time, more cost effective. You can go to drinkag1.com/Pacman to get 5 free travel packs of AG1, plus a free 1-year supply of vitamin D. I've talked about vitamin D many times. The link is down below.